Hello there, and welcome back to The Closet Historian, and back to my series Side Hustlin', where I take you behind the scenes of some of the videos I've been making recently, or behind the scenes of my work in general, whether that be YouTube, sewing, writing, whatever I'm getting up to, whatever side hustle I happen to be focusing on. Although now that YouTube is my full-time job, it's less of a side hustle and more of just my full-time job. Today I wanted to show you how I built the Cyberpunk lookbook set, which I am very thrilled with, even though it is a bit much. I might scale it back a little bit to something slightly more cleaner corner of a futuristic city for future videos. But of course for Cyberpunk I really wanted to push this because Night City is a dangerous and slightly dirty place. But before I could even build this set, I had to clean up the last one. If you watch my last Side Hustling video where I built the Halloween set and then noticed recently it had some fake snow on it as well, it was already going to be a bear to clean up, and then I added the fake snow stuff, which made it even a stickier situation, so I had quite a lot to do before I could even start on the Cyberpunk set. Let's jump back in time and I'll show you how I got on. So I made a Star Wars themed lookbook several years ago. I can put a card up to it here if you'd like to see it, which this is the set for that, which is what I reused to make the Cyberpunk set. Today you'll see how these pieces get slotted in and repainted and reused, but I did just keep this set because big set pieces like this are quite an investment. Obviously it's not as much as like a real building would cost, but it is still quite pricey to buy all these things. So here's my mock-up kind of like Photoshop sketch of what I wanted to do for this set. Some murals, some graffiti, some signage from the game, some stuff from Home Depot. I knew kind of what I wanted to do, but before I could do anything I had to clean up the Halloween set here. And like I said, it was covered in fake snow at this point as well. So I had a couple, like 2 full cans of fake spray snow on this, which is kind of like a weird flocking material that you really don't want to breathe in. And then a whole bag of like fake plastic snow that you get this kind of stuff over in like the Christmas Village area of the craft store, if they have such things where you live. Here in America, one of the traditions is to set up a Christmas Village. I don't know if they have this in other countries, but my mom has one somewhere packed up. She hasn't set it up in years. But sometimes you put fake snow on these things. So I was trying to vacuum up the fake snow in some of these leaves with the shop vac, which kind of worked, but I kind of just kept clogging the shop vac with all these leaves, of course, because the filter on the shop vac isn't very good either. So I started trying to clean all this stuff up, and then I started trying to move the bricks. So I was stacking them up in this Mood Fabrics box, and then I put them on this hand truck, which ended up having a flat tire. So I really struggled with that one. Thought the hand truck was going to make that easier, but not so much. Then I grabbed some garden trash bags, and all of these are rubber wood chips. They're not real wood chips, they're rubber wood chips. And I used a snow shovel to shovel those into trash bags because I'm going to save these wood chips to use again anytime I need, weird dirt with leaves in it. I might have to sift that in the future if I use it again, but we'll see how it goes. And I took the lamp down from the wall and then started moving these Star Wars set pieces over here. And you can see they're still painted the kind of Tatooine sand color here, which I didn't really go hard enough with the, distressing or lighting when I was doing that video, but it was one of my first super themed video, so I'll forgive myself for not loving it as much as I probably did then. But of course, whenever you look back on your old work, you always see things you would change now, because hopefully you're growing as a person and as an artist in life. But here I am painting these big foam set pieces, So Sublime, my favorite gray color from Glidden, and going around and painting all of this. I did have to do 2 coats of this. I think I did 3 coats on the door in total, just because even though this is like a light gray here, the paint I chose for the door this time was like a yellow color that was quite transparent, the paint. So I had to paint that a couple of times. And I painted around these door panels that I made that look quite Star Wars-y. And I just hung the open sign over those to kind of hide that this time. I was practicing doing a little bit of graffiti here as well, 5280. It's a mile high, which is what you see here in Denver quite often used. So I just was randomly just spray painting to get a feel for what it's like to spray paint something. But I painted the door a couple of times, and then I started working out how I was going to do these ads from the game Cyberpunk 2077 up here. Originally I was going to go get some posters printed at like a Kinko's. Also, here's me in my pajamas. Hello. But I was trying to figure out, this has got a couple of pieces of poster board that I taped onto the set for a minute. And using an old projector, I projected the least offensive of the many, many ads that are projected everywhere in the, very dystopian, futuristic video game Cyberpunk. There's screens with ads all over that game, and so I thought it'd be cool to take some of the ads from the game and actually just project them instead of printing like a static image to do like something that was more of a video-based thing, so I ended up doing that. And here I am, after watching 2 YouTube videos on how to do graffiti, trying to do some graffiti here and tagging my own set with TCH, of course, the Closet Historian. Trying to figure out how to do some stars. I have the circle outline for the bit of a mural that I'm about to paint over here. I did use the projector to project the design onto the wall, and then I had to figure out how to hang all the ductwork, which is just hung up with yarn and then secured to the back of the wooden part of my set. It just comes around here. I had my mom help me with that because it was a bit of a nightmare. I tried doing it myself and it was a no. And then again, projecting the image of this like skull. It's like a sort of 80s or 90s t-shirt inspired image that one of the designers did for the game that I changed the colors of and then painted here on the wall. And the easiest way to do a mural is to use a projector. Project what you want to paint on the wall and then just go over it, which is what I'm doing here. This isn't a very complex little mural anyhow, so no big deal. I'm sure most people won't recognize this as a graphic from the game because I don't know exactly where in the game it was used, but you know, we're pulling things straight from Cyberpunk itself to try and incorporate into the whole thing here. And I'm sorry about this footage because the open sign is blinking during this whole thing, so all of the footage is sped up. It's quite a party with this open sign with its sick jams in the corner here. This is an open sign that's just an LED open sign from Amazon, so if I ever open a business that needs to be open, I guess I'll have this sign now. I might hang up these neon signs and then like other neon signs if I collect a few more somewhere in an office in the future. But here's how things are looking. Obviously nothing is distressed yet, but my mural is mostly painted, slightly still wet there. But let's do a little bit more graffiti just with some paint. Got some Never Fade Away, more 5280. My B I painted in there. I did my initials, 2022, just kind of drawing random things around. I really ended up going, I think, too far with the like random graffiti and random scribbles. And so I end up scaling it back later on. So you'll see this get a lot more graffiti and then I end up going over it with some gray paint and kind of scaling it back just because it got so busy so fast. And I didn't exactly know what to graffiti. So sometimes I liked what I did and sometimes I didn't, you know. But here I am stacking up some containers, some jerry cans, some random ductwork stuff, and a lot of trash I had been saving. I have like a whole piles of cardboard down here in case I ever need it, and also junk mail and stuff. So I was piling that on and then started testing some lighting. So this is a very 80s scheme here, very neon. Just testing different types of lighting. How many colors do I want to use at once? I don't tend to use this many colors at once for the setting, the background, because although this is like a fun 1980s postcard, it's too much for when you want anyone to look at the clothes you're wearing because the background's got so much going on. It's hard to make, it doesn't draw the focus to the outfit. So something like this where it's mostly green lighting with a little bit of like pink from the neon side or purple from the skull actually helps the eye focus on the model, in this case me, a little bit more. And this is actually still quite clean. I had not distressed this yet because I was putting it off because I knew it was going to get paint under my fingernails, and it's quite a process to distress an entire set. And it's also hard to say. So I hadn't watered down any dark gray paint and gone all over the place with it yet, but this is how we were looking, you know, after the end of day 2. Basically, the set took me about 2, 3, maybe like 3.5 days, 3.5, 4 days to put together in total. But here's how things are looking with my hair looking quite a mess on like the end of putting the set together. And you can see there's more graffiti and especially yellow here than is in the finished video. So again, I scaled a lot of this white and yellow spray paint back. So you can see next to Never Fade Away, that all kind of went away. I painted it back. So here is on shoot day number 1 in my pajamas and then in some clothes what I had going on for the lighting. I had the pink light above the door on, I had the open sign flashing, and when I pulled this in to start editing the video, pulled the footage in, which, you know, is a lot of me looking at myself trying to model, which is very fun. It's better sped up like this than it is in real time. But I just thought there was so much going on that it was hard for the eye to focus on the outfits. And the first part of the video is definitely my least favorite, the first, like, very first segment. And then later, when I get to this robot suit kind of outfits and the second half of the beginning fast portion and the rest of the video, I am happier with the open sign being static. It's not flashing too much. And the lighting being a little bit more monochromatic. Obviously, this is all blue-green here, but keeping it in the same color family, less contrast, I think helps to be able to focus on the clothes more. So this set is the busiest set I've ever done. So it is hard for me to get used to how much is going on here. There's a lot of trash. Last time I had a lot of leaves and like detritus in the graveyard. This time I have a lot of trash, which is a unique prop to be collecting and having set aside. Some specific trash. I'm like, oh, I need some things that are like really shiny and like teal. Keep those aside, you know? And this is another of the lighting schemes. I have my spotlight here set to a little dot pattern instead of the stripes. And this outfit, actually, I forgot to talk about in the second half of the video. So this is outfit 16 in some ways. I forgot to talk about it, which is hilarious because as much of the fashion in this is inspired by Thierry Mugler, this is the only Mugler piece in this. This jacket is actually a Thierry Mugler jacket from the 90s that I collected actually just before he passed away. I bought this online vintage. It fits me like a glove and is the best thing ever. And yet I didn't get to talk about it in the video because I forgot because I was editing at 3 a.m. But I have paired this black Thierry Mugler jacket with a neon like runner's top, like athletic top, mock neck top, and then my iridescent electric blue stretch faux leather pencil skirt, and then matching heels with that, and a black patent clutch, and a little blue brooch. I really like this outfit, and yet I forgot to talk about it. Like a fool. And I did wear gray sheer nylon tights for all of this as well, which I had to go to every department store in town to find. I finally found some at Kohl's from Hanes, because nobody carries hosiery anymore, which is a real bummer. I highly doubt this will be picked up on the microphone for the iPhone, but this buddy actually makes quite a lot of noise, this light. You can turn it down. This is doing the dots over here right now. See the dots. So this has a little filter on it that does that. I can make those all the way bigger or make them smaller. And if I take out the filter, we just have a normal spotlight here that I can where is it? Change the size of if we want to, but we'll just leave that on for now while I take you around on set. So of course I have that recycled rubber like gym flooring or gym or garage flooring that I bought for the last set that again is being reused here. You can still see the two different colors of material here, which is unfortunate. Then I have this like wire curb cover stuff to kind of make a curb in the front of this in a nice safety yellow color. And then of course we have the set in general, which if I move over here and back up, you can see in its full capacity, as it were. So we still have my theater flats behind this. We have our three main pieces of pink insulation foam made to look like building. And then I have another extra piece of like really cobbled together foam over here that is like the cutout of this door got put onto there. So this was my Star Wars set. If we use magic, I can kind of show you what that looked like before. Of course, repainted and completely covered in gray and grime to make it look like this instead. And you can see here's the ceiling of the basement. It's not a very tall space. If I didn't have this, like, I'm sure this is like ductwork or something in here, I could have made my set wider, which would have been great, because I do still have to fill in the sides of my set, because in a full widescreen, it is not, like I either have to zoom in and lose height or zoom out and get black bars on the side or something. So one day when I can build another set, of course I would like it to be wider, but this is literally as physically wide as I could make it down here in this basement backlot. But yes, I painted the door with like a shinier dark mustard color, and then the walls are that So Sublime, my favorite color of Glidden paint, which is actually what the set behind is painted as well in this same color of dark gray. And then of course there's a lot of even darker gray faux finishing on here. Unfortunately I didn't get footage of the faux finishing this time, but you just kind of wipe dark paint anywhere you want it to be, and you can clean some of it off. I just like keep a sponge loaded with dark paint in one hand and a paper towel in the other, and I just kind of put dark on and then take it away where I feel I need to. So it's not a very precise process actually in the end, because it's supposed to look dirty and random, so you don't have to be super particular about it. Now this mural here, you saw me paint that. This again is inspired by a graphic that one of the artists that worked on the game made, I think as a t-shirt design, but I inverted the colors and then did that here on the background using the projector to put that on there. Never Fade Away, of course, one of the songs from the game, and like big lines from the game, so that's on here. TCH a couple of times, me learning how to do graffiti. A couple of cheap signs from, again, Home Depot. And then I have my open sign, which you can change the colors of and change it to flash or not flash if you want to. And this skull fake neon is actually from Target's Halloween section. And then we have a storage bin, which is currently empty, but I'm sure I'll use it when packing and moving next year. Some jerry cans, some random ducting materials, and lots of trash and like junk mail that I've been saving. So like plastic bags, and these are like inflatable bags to like protect stuff, and bubble wrap and all that kind of crap. I could have just been saving that and sticking it under these. These are a couple of soda cans that I wrapped with a Nicola wrapper that I just printed off on the computer so that they were a little bit more cyberpunk themed. But here's what the street looks like. This is actually a fog juice for the fog machine. We have this cinder block here. You can see there's another one over here because there's two pieces of PVC that are holding up this piece of plastic, which is like kind of serving as a bit of an awning here. It's like a piece of plastic that comes out here, and this is actually a window well cover for a basement window. And then I have my ducting again that just goes across the top of here. Sort of looks like a lot of cyberpunk buildings in cyberpunk design, and this is all really inspired by Blade Runner, has a lot of the ductwork and infrastructure added on to the external side of the building. That's how they transformed the backlot for the Blade Runner set. If you've ever watched the behind the scenes of how they made the first Blade Runner film, they used like a city backdrop set. I think it was supposed to be like New York City or LA on one of the backlots, and they transformed it by sticking a ton of neon and air conditioning units and ducting and all that kind of stuff on the outside. So this, of course, is inspired by that same kind of idea. But this is this side of the set here with our nice glowy lights, some crates, and more trash that I've been collecting. You know, save your trash. You never know what's going to come in handy. White screen that was kind of displaying ads as if it were an LCD screen or LED screen like they have in the game. But this is actually just a piece of white, or a piece of foam that I painted white. And this is actually black gaff tape that's around the edges of this because I didn't have time to paint it nicely, so I just used black gaff tape to make it look like it had a bit of a rim. But this, I was projecting those images onto that screen. So this isn't a screen that has projection from behind. I was using a projector to project onto that screen. And here are the behind the scenes of that. This is a table with some boxes, and on top of the boxes, an old projector. This is still a very nice projector, actually, but my dad likes to have a projector on the wall to watch the NFL games as large as possible. And this is his old projector. And I said, hey, can we use that? And he said, yeah. So that's how I did the projection for both painting the mural and then also for those ads on the wall. You can see all my other props and things just offset here because this is a backlot and a props department, etc. This is what in film would be called a flag, really, I think. This is a black like garden trash bag hanging from the ceiling to block some of the light from this LED buddy that I can change the color of, which is nice. To block some of that light so that I can have a stronger projection up on this buddy. Because this was, you know, the more other light I have on the set, the less crisp this projection up here was going to be. So you can tell when I have the lights on, this is much more faded, the projection that's on there. Of course, it's not turned on right now at all, but in general, that's what's going on there. If I had done like a green screen, I could have done this in like a green or a different color and then keyed it out, but I've never done anything like that before. I didn't have time to figure out how to do so. I have the spotlight going on that I could change. Sometimes I had lines on set. Sometimes I just do a spotlight. Sometimes I had those dots. Then I have my LED strip light here that can do different colors and intensities of those colors. Over here on set, I had one practical light here that I didn't end up really liking, so I turned it off for most of the video. Then we have, of course, our open sign and this buddy, and then we have these strip LED color changing lights again, and there's one actually behind this pile of trash that's kind of projecting up onto the wall, so I could change the colors of those as well, or turn them off and on depending on what I wanted for a particular scene. But then other than that, I just have my typical soft boxes. There's another one over here, just to light up close to my face, and then right here where we're standing currently is where the camera and also my ring light are, and I had the ring light set to about like 5, dialed up to about like a 5 setting halfway for most of the video, just to provide a little bit of white light. And then for the end part of the video, of course, I turned that up to like 10 or 12 notches so that we can have more light on the situation. You can see more of the natural color of the clothing that I'm trying to show you. Here in the wardrobe department, things are just a total mess because I haven't done anything since I finished filming the video. So everything's just kind of in a jumble and laying about because I have not fixed everything since filming the video. But I'll just highlight some of the shoes I wore because I know some of you are shoe lovers like me out there. These were the Nine West kind of patent pumps. They're black patent on one side, and then they are clear, transparent stuff on the other. So that's very fun. I love these. I love the shape of this heel too. I mean, that heel's very tall. There's no platform up here, so they're quite uncomfortable, but they're very pretty. And then speaking of very pretty, these are holographic, iridescent, patent looking heels from Sam Edelman that I'm just in love with, and they match my blue holographic pencil skirt perfectly. So super excited about these buddies. And then the last like fancy pair were these Steve Madden transparent buddies. They have a very stiletto-y heel, but they're this like clear, slightly, I don't know, like beige colored plastic. And it is a slingback. They're actually quite comfortable. The plastic is, weirdly enough, but slingbacks and my heels don't get along super well. So probably better if I wasn't wearing nylons actually, but some of the fun shoes that I wore for this video. But in general, I'm quite happy with how the set came together. It's a little, you know, it's busy compared to a lot of the sets I do and use. So usually I have a less busy backdrop, which I guess the last set was pretty busy as well. But there's a lot of different colors going on. There's contrast going on. So it did take me a minute to get used to that almost in the edit. And it kind of takes, you know, focus away from the clothes. But it is fun to do something this bold and trashy and weird. I think I'm going to be scaling this back a little bit instead of using it as like my everyday backdrop for the next upcoming videos I need to film for starting the next year. So I think I will scale back some of my graffiti and maybe make this a little bit cleaner part of the city. I will take this down actually. And then I have an idea to maybe do almost a like green wall kind of inspired thing where I do like plants on the wall and like bring the planter from Verity back over here and kind of do a more concrete and then greenery sort of idea over here on this cyberpunk-ish set. I think I'll paint the duct. I'm going to keep it, but I think I'll paint it gray a little, so it'll just dial it down a little bit, make the background a little bit more neutral for some of the ideas I have coming up. So here's, again, raw footage of the outfit that Time forgot here on set with the darker lighting color scheme here, but I'm shooting on a neutral profile on my camera, which means this is not very contrasty actually. So when I drop the footage into Premiere, I like to do a Lumetri color effect, which you can see here. So this is with the contrast bumped up with a vignette put on the footage. So this has a black vignette around the edges that makes the edges of the image darker than the rest, and a couple other like color changes, basically just like minor adjustments to the contrast, the lights and the darks. And then of course the sides are still, you know, the basement. So I need to put some sort of a frame on this to extend the set. So I kind of invent a little Photoshop frame to stick on top of this that hopefully you won't focus on when I'm modeling. Hopefully you're looking at the clothes, you know, and not the little mistakes I make or things I have to change to make things work. And adding the frame like this around the image just kind of finishes it off and makes it so you can't see basement and you can only see this one little corner of Night City instead, hopefully. And our open sign is making the lights flicker here, which is a shame, but LEDs and frame rates always have surprises for me, which is a bummer. We have a nice Tiger Claws logo up on the screen here as well. That is a logo from the game, not a cool tiger graffiti that I made. But in general, that was how I put together this set for the Cyberpunk lookbook, which I ended up calling Synapse. And this video is called Synapse Burnout because that is one of the quick hacks in the game. I have actually played the game. I'm surprised I didn't get that question more often. This video has only hit like my audience, all of you. So you all know that I wouldn't like make something that I didn't know much about. But I was afraid that, you know, if this hit any wider audience, they'd be like, you know, hit me with some fake gamer girl stuff where it's like, you don't even know anything about Cyberpunk. And it's like, not about the board game, but I have played the video game twice. So Synapse Burnout is one of the quick hacks in the game, like a way to deal damage to your enemies. And it's also, you know, I kind of burnt myself out making Synapse. So really it all kind of makes sense. I was trying to, for those of you who are my patrons who've been listening to me ramble about this on the podcast for the past couple months, I've been trying to get it so that I could take December off and just catch up on a lot of cleaning I need to do around the house, reading I'd like to do, and also do some writing because I haven't done any writing in a very long time, or at least dedicated taking time to do writing I haven't done in a long time. So I was trying to take December off. It is now December, what is it today? 12th. It's December 12th, and I'm not off yet, but I'm planning to at least take 2 weeks off, like around Christmas, to, again, yeah, straighten up a lot of things in the house and get my brain in order as well. So hopefully I can manage to do that. I've been taking pockets of break here just after filming the video and getting that out because to actually compile the edit for this video, it took me about 3 or 4 days of editing probably. I filmed the first 4 or 5 looks on one day and then the rest on another day. So you'll notice like my makeup improves after those. Like I did the makeup again and the second time it came out better. I had some clip-in extensions in the first part of the video that I just ended up not liking because like my hair is quite blonde right now as opposed to white, and the extensions were white and it just wasn't meshing very well. And I had them like perfectly combed in with my hair, and then as soon as I got on set, they were like looking really choppy and bad. So took those extensions out. So I changed a few things from that like first day of filming when I was hoping to get like 8 or 10 looks filmed. I only ended up getting 5 looks in the can that day. So I was like, oh my God. And I filmed all day. So I really was having trouble keeping usually when I do the quick changes for the outfits, I try and film like maybe tops, 12, 13 minutes of footage per outfit, because otherwise I'll be there all day. And this day I was filming 30, 40 minutes per outfit just because I was like, do I have it? Do I have it? Because I can't watch my footage back immediately. I'm always just like, well, I'll do one more take to make sure that I have something I can use. And I second guess myself a lot sometimes when I'm on set because I don't really know how to model. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making it up. So I was having a really hard time that first day of shooting. So I changed a few things for the second day. I actually set a timer on my phone the second day, which is the first time I've done this while doing a lookbook like this, where I just set it for 10 minutes and I would try and get what I need to get done in that 10 minutes and then really try and keep myself on a tighter schedule. That's like the director side of the because I'm doing like all of the film jobs, what I'm doing at lookbook like this. So I have, as in addition to modeling or acting or whatever we're calling what I'm doing on camera here, I'm also having to like remember continuity, what I need to do for between shots for the lighting. Because in this video, this is the first time again for a lookbook where I've changed the lighting like dramatically several times for different segments, doing different colors of lighting, and then doing both like the darker lighting that I do for the beginning of the video and the brighter lighting that I do for the end of the video. So keeping all that lighting stuff, that's director of photography, like DP and grip kind of stuff going on there. And then, props department is me, modeling, makeup touch-ups, all these things, trying to keep it all going and then like film and have it not take 12 hours is a unique task. I'm usually absolutely dead after a shoot. So I did a second day of the shoot where I filmed the other 10 looks or whatever it was. This ended up being like a 15, 16 look video. I try to keep it to 10 usually because I know how these massive shoots destroy me. So I do try and keep it down, but I just had so many looks I wanted to play with and share because I really love this genre and like theme. So I really went overboard. So that's a shame. But after I filmed the first day, I actually did drop that footage into my video. I had done the music first. So I found all the music first when I had a bit of time earlier in the month. So I did found the music, edited all that together, and then I wanted to throw that up onto YouTube to make sure, like unlisted, to make sure it wasn't going to get flagged for having copyright music. Because although all the music is from Epidemic Sound, I do have some sound effects from the video game Cyberpunk. I have a little bit of song footage from Cyberpunk in the audio track, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't going to get flagged for copyright for that. So I have unlisted the music first. Then I did that first day of filming, edited that footage together for the beginning part of the video, and learned a few things I wanted to do differently, filmed the rest of the video, and then I put that in there. So it was about 2 days of editing before I even filmed the 3/4 of the video. And then I did about a day of editing. That first portion of the video has so many cuts and so many effects layered on to those transitions and stuff. A lot of that stuff is from Video Blocks, by the way, which I can link them below. It's like Epidemic Sound where you pay to get either stock footage or effects and presets and stuff like that you can layer in. Some of the effects I did myself in Premiere, and some of the effects I just dragged and dropped, which is very useful. But that first half of the video took 3 days, and then the second half of the video takes 3 hours. So it's kind of like, the first 3 minutes are what's taking days and days and days of time. But I did a day of editing where I let myself go to bed at a proper hour. And then the next day was the Wednesday before it came out. So I stayed up till 4 a.m. finishing the edit for this one, which is how that one look escaped getting talked about, which is a shame because I really like that look. But these things happen when you set yourself deadlines. And for some reason, I have this feeling that my videos need to come out on Thursdays, even though it's up to me, as we know. So I could technically release it on Friday. And I might have let myself have a couple of hours on Thursday, like in the first half of Thursday, and put the video out late on Thursday if I had that Thursday available. But I actually had a tattoo appointment that day to get my new chrysanthemums shaded in. So I have plastic on underneath here over my mums because I had those shaded on that Thursday. So I wasn't even home while that video was like, I like published the video and then I left to drive across town to get the tattoo finished. So I was not even home that day, so I couldn't finish it on Thursday. I had to get it done on Wednesday. And then I only got like 4 hours of sleep before I went to a full day tattoo session where I got stabbed all day, which was fine. Although you do lay in funny positions, so my neck has been out of whack since. So it was, again, a bit of a rush to the finish line, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Trying to explain these things. Well, again, yes, I am a little jumbled still. I actually took a minute to clean the sewing room because I just couldn't do anything. Like, this is my office as well. My computer's right here. And then the sewing room is next to us. I like couldn't do anything in here because I needed to vacuum before I could even be in here anymore. So I vacuumed the floor. I picked up all the lost, sad, bent pins. I reorganized my fabric a little bit. I reorganized some like errant patterns that were all over the place. So it feels much better to be in here now. I still have some work to do in here, but instead of trying to do things all at once, which clearly is something I tend to do, I'm trying to do like, okay, one bookcase at a time, one pile at a time, going through my scraps yesterday, things like that. So I'm trying to take it a little bit easier to get all the things I want to get done, but perhaps not all at once or in the timeline I originally envisioned. So I'm really glad that there are some of you who enjoyed the video, I guess. I knew there was going to be some people, I was going to lose some people with this one just because it's so different. It's like mostly futuristic and a tiny bit vintage, just in the sense that like there's 1980s influence on cyberpunk as a genre in general. And then when it's me, I'm going to try and figure out how to make it red lipstick and a little bit more 50s or a little bit more 40s. But thank you so much for the support on the video. Thank you for watching this video because I know the side hustling videos are very different from the rest of the things I do. And I will have the sewing videos coming up soon for many of the projects involved in the video in general. And of course, thank you so much to my patrons who make videos like this possible, who make my work in general possible, who make my career possible. Again, more like behind the scenes sort of things. I never thought that under 100,000 subscribers, although we're getting really close now. So by the time I make my update video for the year, I might be able to say that we have 100,000 subscribers here on the channel, which would be, you know, a huge goal hit for me. Just in this sustainability of my channel, more so. Like, it's not like I want to have a gigantic channel. I just want to feel secure in my job. And that's something I never thought I would hit until I got to 100,000 subscribers. But I've been feeling like that this whole year, felt secure in my work. Like the rug wasn't going to completely get ripped out from under me because of Patreon. So Patreon has afforded me the stability to make this my job. And the amount of like mental comfort having that support there. It's, you know, YouTube can do whatever they want as a platform. You never know when a social media platform, you know, weird things happen with social media platforms. And like the same is true of Patreon in some ways, but like the individual patrons, all of you together make this something that I can do as my job and afford me the stability that I need to make it a career and also just to feel less anxious. So thank you for helping not only like my financial stability, but also my mental stability in that way, because although I have a lot of, I'm sure like most people in this position have a lot of, I don't know, guilt around having such an amazing job. And also imposter syndrome, couldn't remember the name for imposter syndrome, where it's like, why, like, are you sure me? Like, I'm not like cool enough for this. But yeah, all in all, I'm just so lucky. And I know that, and thank you, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But once again, my brain is just scrambled eggs. This is your brain on drugs. This is your brain on work for me, because I love my work. So you can't get me to stop, as I always say. But I'll talk about all this more in my wrap up of the year. I'm going to have my annual end of the year side hustling video coming up soon here over the New Year period. And then I will make some goals for next year, which is going to maybe be a very weird and strange year for me. So we'll see how that goes. I'll talk about that more in the future. If you're interested in more behind the scenes and personal stuff from me, you can see those videos over the New Year period. But again, thank you so much for watching today, and I'll be back with more sewing, vintage fashion, costuming, and crafting real soon. So I'll see you then. Bye. Extra special thanks to Amy, Alicia, Anna, Audra, Che, Karina, Denise, Ellen, Eloquent Silence, Fern, Heidi, Jay Lucky, Lainey, Lilith, Linda, Lynn Hamilton and Lynn Olson, Margaret, Myrna, Nancy, Natalie, Rachamus, Rhonda, Swingularity, Thea, Tracy, Ula, Zara, and Zuzana. And thank you to all of my patrons and, of course, viewers like you.